2012 in the best of 3 series with AtE and StrawHatz, AtE on the Dire, StrawHatz on the Radiant. My name is Vivek. With me is my co-caster Cranberry 1x. Some of you know him as Babo, some of you know him as Surojit. Anyways, Babo, introduce yourself.
Hello, I've played competitive Dota for a while now, and in fact, the ATE team is formally called Error, and we have players called Insane, Gizmo, who've played for Error and who've been at the top of the competitive Dota scene for a long time, in fact, quite a few years now. We played against them competitively and they've beaten us quite a few times. We've beaten them maybe once or twice, and Insane used to be captain of Error. Gizmo used to be their best player. Right now, I think Pulse has taken over Gizmo's role and Stephen has taken over Insane's.
Okay. That's for those of you who've been following the scene since Dota 1, the good old days. I remember Gizmo as Master of Rapes, as that high-level idiot used to come in our low-level games and rape us all and just walk away. So we have a... I don't know if this was a troll ban by ATE, because I might be a bit too ahead saying this, because Darkseid has been severely nerfed and they waited for at least a good 12 seconds before banning out Darkseid.
Yeah.
I don't know, it could be a troll ban. Meanwhile, StrawHatz respond with Naga. Pretty standard so far. Huh, Baba?
Yeah, and in fact, if I'm not mistaken, StrawHatz did ban Naga last game as well. Yeah, the last game they played, they banned Naga. And we could expect something interesting from StrawHatz, because in the previous series of best of 3, they picked Pudge in the first game and completely destroyed Banana Pancakes having beaten VOSK previously.
Yeah, they did pick Pudge, they picked Tiny, they've been going for a lot of unusual picks. Let's see what they have so far. Pretty standard ban, Rubik. You don't want to give away that mid solo. Anything to add to that, Babu?
Yeah, I think ATE do not want to play against a Rubik. I think they've prepared themselves to play against a team without a Rubik, because Rubik can really turn a game, especially a well-played Rubik at mid can carry the game the whole way. There's no question about it. Rubik is one of the strongest picks in the game, and as we see, ATE pick up Tidehunter as their first pick.
Yeah, good first pick over there. But what I'd like to add is StrawHatz, from what I've noticed, they banned out Naga and Disruptor straight away in the previous game as well. Something they really want to avoid, this Naga Disruptor. I don't know, they want to stay away from that. Furion, I think this is the first Furion we're getting to see in this tournament. Huh,
yeah, finally we get to see a Furion picked, and that's going to be really interesting to see how they play the Furion, whether he's going to offlane solo and teleport, take early towers on the opposite lane, or whether he's going to go jungle.
Yeah. They follow up with a nice decent support. They need one. They pick up Leshrac, always useful, good to push, goes well with a Furion who's going to have early mobility and spawn creeps and take towers early game. That's what I can see so far.
Yeah, exactly. And I think to come back to that Disruptor ban, StrawHatz, I think they've done their homework, because ATE has been picking Disruptor a lot. We've seen ATE being one of the only teams in the Indian scene who've picked Disruptor and successfully accomplished winning games, as we see ATE pick up Tiny now.
My god, this was StrawHatz's pick in the game 1 versus Banana Pancakes, and they totally demolished Banana Pancakes with their Tiny. You might be right that they've been doing their homework, but I saw them ban the same first and second ban versus Banana Pancakes. So it's a combination of homework or whatnot, and their ATE pick up their anti-mates. They love to farm, Babu.
And this is really interesting, because ATE now have 3 melee heroes. 3 melee heroes in a game in your first 3 picks means you can expect StrawHatz to ban a few range support heroes, because that's what ATE need now, and StrawHatz pick up the Lone Druid.
Yeah. ATE, I mean, they've always, even as Error, they've always picked picks which were, in my opinion, a little off on paper. I mean, I don't see how, for me, these 3 heroes work together. They used to pick Slardar and some 2 more melee heroes. I've seen those games of theirs, but they made them work. Meanwhile, ATE ban out a Dragon Knight and a Templar Assassin, both heroes that StrawHatz picked and utilized very well in their games against Banana Pancakes. ATE have been watching, man. They've been watching everything. Meanwhile, StrawHatz ban out an Invoker, a mid solo. They choose to ban out the range mid solo. They also ban out another range support, which could go well with Tiny. Decent bans coming out from StrawHatz.
Yeah, I think StrawHatz are really thinking this through. As far as ATE go, I think even though they have their first 3 picks as melee heroes, you can expect their coordination to come through when Tidehunter ravages, and Tiny will blink into one hero and Anti-Mage will blink into the same hero, and they will finish off one important hero at the beginning of the battle itself.
Okay. I mean, I don't know, Babo. What was Stefan's name back in the old error days? Who was he?
Unfortunately, I have no idea because Stefan is new to me, but he has captained them in the Noida tournament at in Noida, and he did lead them to quite a successful tournament, in fact.
Okay. So there's always some mysterious Brahmin coming up from an alley in Tamil Nadu who's always there for error. Error bearing out their own rain support over there with Venomancer. I don't know if they would want that one, or I don't. They choose to ban out Veno. Probably they know that StrawHatz do pick up Leshrac and Veno and go for a tri lane. StrawHatz ban out Lina. Thoughts?
That's pretty interesting. I think they're expecting AtE to lane Lina and Tiny, or they just wanted to ban the laner with Tiny. I think that's probably what was going through their minds. But looking at the StrawHatz picks, they're going for a complete pushing lineup. It seems like they want to end this game early, and we could expect a 20-minute, 30-minute finish if StrawHatz perform well early game.
Yes, I'd like to mention that StrawHatz is one of the teams that have picked pushy based lineups. As the best way to put it is pushy, and they've really been making them work, and that's relief. Finally, AtE pick up the support in the form of Crystal Maiden. StrawHatz respond with the Shadow Shaman, more push
and
power.
Another pushing hero from StrawHatz. Then you can really expect this game to try and be. You can expect StrawHatz to try and finish this game early, because now they have 4 complete pushing heroes in Lone Druid, Shadow Shaman, Leshrac, and Nature's Prophet.
And again, on paper, I don't see how AtE are going to hold these pushes. I mean, they're going to count a lot on the Tide getting early levels, and they do have the luxury of laning Tide in a manner to give them the levels.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to lane it. I don't know what they're going to try, but yeah. Thoughts on Era's laning? I mean, AtE is laning, how it could work out?
AtE is laning. Right now, I'm not sure, because Tiny and Crystal Maiden could easily lane together. I think you can expect a dual lane. You could, but the current metagame says that you need to expect a Trio, and Enigma is picked up by AtE, and you're definitely going to see him going jungle, I think.
So right now, both teams have the option of the jungle clearly, and AtE seem to be leaning towards more team fight. And a last pick from StrawHatz comes in the form of a Klings. We saw the Klings last game by Frenzy, and it was a beautiful Klings. A Klings that took initiative, went up there and jabbed heroes in their faces.
Yeah, and earlier in the tournament we had a couple of teams picking Klinks, and they didn't succeed at all. They're pretty badly played Klinks, and now you have a team that's capable of giving Error a fight, giving AtE a fight here. And when you pick up a hero like Klinks, I think it's a very risky strategy against a good team, a well-coordinated team who's experienced. Klinks may fail. I think Klinks, there's a high chance that Klinks might fail because Error, AtE will counter it.
Yeah, well, even in the previous game, Banana Pancakes did go out of the way to ward and focus Klings, but Klings had already gone ahead by then. He was on the safe lane solo. So right now, let's just look at the heroes and what players have picked up what heroes. We have on the Radiant side, we have Frenzy on the Klings. We have, no surprise, he was there last game as well playing the Klings. Pusher on the Lone Druid, Centipede playing the Rasta, Cluster on the Leshrac, and Excarnation on the Nature's Prophet. Baba, would you have a look at AtE?
Stephen's playing a support hero, which is pretty standard for a captain. He needs to look at the entire game, make sure that everyone's doing their jobs, and play a slightly subtle role in the team. Enigma, Dinchak, we might expect him to go jungle, while Insane is playing Tidehunter, so he's going to be the initiator, and he has a lot of experience playing Dota and DOTA2, so you can expect him to make some good ravages in the game. Hopefully he should find an early Blink Dagger. Gizmo playing Anti-Mage, a carry hero. I'm surprised that Pulse isn't playing Anti-Mage, but you can expect Pulse to play Gizmo's old role of the ganker, and he's going to really take initiative here. You might expect Pulse to get a really high number of kills this game.
Yeah, the Pulse I remember having played with used to play more. He used to be offensive and used to manage to pick up his farm as well, playing whatever he played, whether it was Sand King, whether it was Tiny, whatever it is. And I see Pulse picking and playing in that role over here. Gizmo going out there to farm, level 1 Blink straight away, picks up a Poor Man's Shield, not something you see very often. A lot of mages like to pick up branches and a Quelling Blade over here. Meanwhile, Enigma set for the jungle with a Ring of Protection and 5 Clarities. CM, 4 little CM with a set of wards, nothing much he can do. Tiny seems to be heading for a mid right now with a decent amount of regen and a circlet. And I don't know, is it tied on the offlane?
Yeah, I think they're going tight on the offlane. They're definitely going tight on the offlane with a dual lane top and Enigma jungle in Dire Forest. And Tiny mid solo is pretty old school. I think a few international teams have done it. recently, but it's mainly an old school strat where Tiny used to go solo mid against Shadow Fiend and completely destroy Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, so right now we see a tiny Solomon versus a lone druid. A decent lone druid should pick up all the farm he needs. A lot of pauses coming out. We might be having a few technical issues on that end. Furion right now set for the off lane. He should do pretty well. Just depends a lot on how much Mage and Maiden want to harass the hell out of him. Thoughts? Yeah, Mage has decided to, I don't know, be at a scenic vantage point, but there's not much to see in Goa. You have to go to the beach, my friend.
Yeah, definitely you have to go to the beach in Goa.
Yes, and the nude beach. Let's hope I don't get a warning for this.
Do you know any nude beaches?
Yeah, I think.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that on mic.
Bag. Yeah, we didn't mean to say any of that, we just wanted to go do that. So anyways, we're here at ICGC 2012, right here in Goa. This lovely little tournament is brought to you and sponsored by Alienware. I'm here casting on a lovely Alienware laptop. A big shout out to Alienware. These wonderful casts will be up. They'll be up on Lord Nod's YouTube channel as well as his Twitch channel that can be found at twitch.tv/LordNod. You can see him cast many games. He does StarCraft as well, Counter-Strike, Go, and lots of stuff. My name is Vivek. With me here is Cranberry. We are the exclusive analysis partners of this tournament representing AFK Gaming. You can find us and check us out as afkgaming.com/forum. Babo, do you think AtE have picked something relevant to the new patch? I mean, do you see their picks around the new patch, or are they?
I think AtE. Personally, my real opinion is that AtE don't really care. I think they think they're playing against a relatively noob team compared to them, because AtE have a lot of experience, years and years of Dota All-Stars experience and Dota experience as well, Dota 2 experience. And I don't think they're really worried, concerned, nervous, or under pressure for this game. So in terms of the picks, I think they may have stuck to their old strategies that they've practiced, and I don't know if they've adapted their strategies. It seems like a pretty standard strategy even for a pre 6.75 patch. What do you think?
I don't know. Seems, I really can't say. I mean, this is where my knowledge of the game limits me, because I can see these heroes working. I can see Enigma picking up the jungle. I can see Mage getting farm. I can see Tide failing on the off lane. And I can see Tiny doing well on the mid lane, but Lone Druid is going to outdo him. So yeah, we just have to wait and watch. It comes down to the gameplay. Like you said, maybe AtE are taking this a little casually. They aren't aware of who they're playing against. I mean, well, not many people are aware, but StrawHatz has played 2 beautiful games against Banana Pancakes, where they literally made pancakes out of them. So yeah, you should check those out.
Yeah, I think anyone who hasn't watched the StrawHatz versus Banana Pancakes has really missed out on something. So if you do get a chance, then please check it out, because StrawHatz have performed amazingly well through this tournament. The 2 games they played before this were absolutely beautiful. I don't think I've seen an Indian team come out from nowhere like this and dominate another team that Banana Pancakes knocked out VOSK, who were one of the favorites for this tournament.
Yeah.
And
so, like Babo mentioned, Banana Pancakes did knock out VOSK. Obviously, a lot of factors like sleep and internet come into play, but those are just factors. They knocked them out. VOSK, one of the strong favorites, a team with good coordination, very reasonably good individual level of play, and this tournament is full of surprises. These pauses are also, well, not very surprising actually, because they're big technical issues, I guess. We can just wait and watch, and you just have to bear through our voices while you look at Leshrac and photos in motion.
yeah, I think I just want to bring up something from last night, from the VOSK game that VOSK played. And I in between the 2 games, I was around the VOSK camp where they were talking about what happened in the game. There was a lot of lag, a lot of technical issues, a lot of pauses, a lot of delay, and the captain of VOSK, Loki or Rishabh, he was telling his team that it's no excuse, because both teams were playing in the same amount of lag, both teams were playing in the same area of the tournament, both teams had the same exact issues, and you can't really, he didn't want to blame the lag, but I'm a little disappointed that the game wasn't remade at an earlier point.
Yeah, you can't blame the lag solely, but well, I mean, as casters, what we can do is, well, I can point out that one side, well, one set of PCs that one team had to play on, that entire set of PCs was lagging definitely more than the other set of PCs. I mean, I know a lot of you dislike this when casters start making excuses for teams. I'm not making any excuses. I just noticed this myself with my own eyes, and well, I made the suggestion that maybe you guys should have asked for a side toss, which is what I would have done if there was a game too. So yeah, there was whatever. They could have also done what they wanted
Yeah,
to.
they definitely could have. I think a quick solution wasn't reached, and that was a little unfortunate for VOSK. They find themselves knocked out of the tournament. But I'm hoping VOSK can perform in future tournaments, and I hope none of their players quit because they have a lot of potential, just like StrawHatz.
True.
Just like StrawHatz. StrawHatz is a new team, and they have a lot of potential. The way they've been playing, the coordination, the teamwork, the battles up the slope, they've been absolutely perfect in their execution of ganks, and and now they've picked a pushing lineup, and it's going to be really interesting to see how they push against AtE, who in fact we've played against them before. FIO, the team I used to play for, we've tried to push against AtE, and we failed a lot of times because they know how to counter a push. AtE are very experienced at countering pushes, so be prepared to see AtE really. Every time StrawHatz looks to push a tower, be prepared to see AtE counter them completely.
Yeah.
I think it's not a bold prediction. I think it's something that you should expect.
Okay, yeah, well, I haven't seen Error enough to know. I mean, I don't remember. I haven't seen any team try and push out against Error. So yeah, we'd like to see them counter a push. I'd like to know how Error does that with these very strangely odd heroes. I don't see it happening unless Tide picks up a few early levels. That's going to be the main key. But yeah, it's too early to say. One more thing you folks should keep in mind is that Lone Druid's Bear, if you summon it and it's taking damage, you can't re-summon it while it's taking damage. So that limits the bear and his pushing potential to an extent. Earlier, in the earlier versions, if your bear was being hit, big shit, I'll summon it again, it'll come right next to me. Here you have to micro the bear, you have to somehow pull it out. So I hope AtE know this, and they just need to focus the bear, and it can happen quickly in a couple of spells and a few hits. They need to take out the bear. Meanwhile, we saw this last game as well, StrawHatz always like to pick up that level 1 smoke. No such excitement to go and gank so early in the game from Error. They just seem to be more content with having regen and sitting at high points on the map doing nothing. Lone Druid's Bear has gone all the way from mid to top lane, probably trying to pull the creep wave out of there for Furion. That's my guess. And right now, I'm Rasta and Leshrac probably going for an early set of wards to keep the offlane hero in trouble. And they should dominate this offlane. If Tide ends up getting levels here, I'll be pissed.
Yeah, I think definitely StrawHatz should dominate Tide here, but I'm more concerned about the other lane, the opposite lane here, with you have Nature's Prophet going there, and AtE, I'm pretty sure they expect the Nature's Prophet to come there, and I think they're going to try a couple of sly creep pulls from behind the first tower, in between the first and the second tower on top lane for Dire. You can expect the bear or Furion's creeps to pull the creeps to Furion's tower, and expect Furion to get levels, definitely more levels than Tidehunter, and to hit level 6 before Tide. It's going to be crucial. On the other hand, if you look at mid lane and you look at the laning that's going on between Syllabear and Tiny, Tiny has really low armor. Tiny has really low armor. In fact, he has 0 armor at the beginning of the game. He's not going to have any physical armor to resist those shots from the bear, which might prove to be crucial in who dominates the lane. I think Syllabear might definitely dominate this lane.
Yeah, on paper, Syllabear should take this lane very easily, but Pulse is a very reasonably one of the best. Some of us like to call him one of the best mid solos in India. So this is why they're sending him mid with a little Tiny out there. Let's see how he does. I mean, it's interesting. On paper, the bear should dominate that lane, and if Tiny starts dominating that lane and pulling off solo kills on the bear, it's going to be a bit disappointing for StrawHatz.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be very disappointing for StrawHatz. I think what StrawHatz need to do to counter the Tiny is to pick up those early runes, because AtE are going to go for those early runes for the Tiny. Like, he's going to pick up an early bottle, and Syllabear is not going to run from the lane. He's going to stay in the lane and farm as much as he can, probably go jungle if the lane pushes too far ahead. Tiny's going to pick up the runes and go ganking. So StrawHatz need to place some really early wards They need to make sure that they don't get picked out by Tiny, because that's the only way that Tidehunter is going to get levels. And if Tide hits 6 early with ganks from Tiny from mid, I think this game could well be over.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so there's been a long pause right here. It's pretty clear that there's still more technical issues. And we're just going to wait and watch. Rasta goes for level 1 Shackle. Obviously, they want to pick up Tide straight away. Leshrac has got a stun, a split earth. Some of the Leshracs like to pick up an early Diabolic. It depends, it's all upon you. I think split earth is much more useful in this scenario. With clings, you can like click in the last hits and you can pick off Tide if need be. Pretty standard so far.
And you see Gizmo stuck up there, enjoying the view.
Yeah.
I wonder what they're doing. I think both teams must be pretty annoyed. I think to give you some background on StrawHatz, they've on what they've experienced in this tournament at least. Unfortunately, they didn't get much time in between the two games that they played. They didn't get much notice before the first game, and they must be pretty tired. AtE, on the other hand, had a long night's sleep. This is their first game in the tournament, so expect them to come out fresh. You'll probably notice them being less tired in the game as well.
Yeah, these factors come into play when you. I mean, StrawHatz have already played a very intensive best of 3 series versus Banana Pancakes, and they played with a very high level of discipline, and that takes a toll on you mentally. And you need to eat, man, whether you're playing or not. And these guys didn't get a break to eat. They're tired. That guy's hand was shaking. I mean, he was a little delirious, and not because of stuff he didn't go at, just because he didn't eat. Give the guy some food, man. Happens. Yeah. I mean, we need food as well. Poor Babo hasn't eaten for really long. So yeah, it's okay. Who do you think is going to win?
Based off my experience playing against AtE or Arrow in the past, I think Arrow has a substantial experience advantage, and I mean, I would love for a team that picks pushing heroes to win. I would love for that to happen because we've always been fan of pushing strategies, but AtE, they have the experience advantage. I think you will see them going through to the next round. That's my prediction.
Yeah, they do have the experience advantage. They are also much better rested. They have something in their stomachs, and this is their first game in the tournament, as Babo mentioned earlier. They are completely prepared for this, and if AtE lose this, people are going to go mad, because this would be the, I mean, I think it will be the first major upset that AtE has ever experienced. One of the first few.
Yeah, definitely one of the first upsets, a major upset that AtE has experienced if StrawHatz beats them. And I think we already have one upset in this tournament with VOSK being knocked out very early in the tournament. And I think it only bodes well for Indian Dota and Indian esports if new teams like StrawHatz come up and perform well in tournaments and manage to knock out a few teams. And even if they don't win the tournament, at least they've managed to accomplish something that's substantial for them.
Okay. Yeah, StrawHatz are kind of like the bottom of the Indian Dota scene at the moment.
Yeah.
They've been knocking out the favorites of sorts, and this is bottom's game versus Navi. To just give you some international context, if you're completely clueless about what's going on in Indian Dota, and if you are, a big slap to you across my casting mic. Anyways, so we're still stuck right here at this very long pause. I'm in a nice, comfortable, air-conditioned room casting this game on a wonderful Alienware PC. That's all because of our amazing sponsors. Thank you, Alienware, and whoever owns Alienware. I don't know if you're an alien, I don't know if you are a human, but really thank you for sponsoring this tournament, because without you and without your awesome support, I wouldn't get this opportunity to come all the way to a wonderful city like Goa and cast this. A big thanks to Lord Nod as well. These replays and these casts will be up on Lord Nod's very own personal Twitch page. You can check it out at twitch.tv/Lord Nod. It's LORDNOD, not KNOD or KNOB. And thank you so much for having us here. Thank you, Lord Nod. Thank you, Alienware Arena. You can check us out on the Alienware Arena Game Victoria site as well. Also, thank you so much to Microsoft for providing us Microsoft 7 and Windows 7 and Windows 8, slip of tongue, and a big thank you to all of you. Thank you so much for giving us a wonderful, wonderful tournament here in India, and what is probably this year's biggest tournament in India, the ICGC Goa 2012. Babo, also, if you guys want some awesome analysis of what's going on in all of these games, we here at AFK Gaming are going to give you some analysis.
Yeah, definitely. You can check out afkgaming.com once this tourney is done, and we'll have some great analysis up for you from quite a lot of the games actually. And you can check out interviews with a lot of the players that have been playing here, a lot of the captains, a lot of debates and a lot of group interviews, a lot of stuff going on here. And I'm really looking forward to this game beginning because I want to see this Tide, Enigma, Tiny anti-push lineup face off against Silabev, Furion, Rasta and Leshrak. And I think you can see that Tiny may have the biggest advantage going into the mid game. Yeah, I don't think he even needs a blink dagger early. If he gets an early level of grow at level 6, he can toss Leshrak or a normal hit and he'll get Leshrak down to half HP, and Avalanche will probably kill him off, and the same applies to Rasta and Furion. And let's not even talk about Klinks because he's going to be a free frag if Tiny gets some early levels. I think what StrawHatz really need to do is gank Tiny early, make sure he doesn't get those levels, make sure that Tidehunter stays underfarmed, capture the runes, ward the runes, capture almost every rune they can, and basically make sure the two main anti-pushing heroes in Tidehunter and Tiny are slowed down with their leveling and their experience gain.
Yes, you're completely right about that, Babo. That's what they need to do, and let's hope that they can keep that going. Let's hope that we can keep going for this extremely long pause. I hope I have some voice remaining because there are 2 games to go, and I know there are going to be lots of pure awesome moments in these games. Let's hope Enigma gives us the black holes we want. In yesterday's game, we saw a lot of disappointing blinks by the Enigma, where he just blinked into 5 heroes, looked left, right, and center, and walked all the way back. That's what we saw. So we have a tri lane here, which is completely going to restrict the Tide. Mage is, well, in a more or less a dual lane with Enigma going in the jungle, and oh shit, I already spoke about the lane. Sorry, it's too long a pause. I have nothing to talk about.
Hey, I have a question. Well, in the current metagame, we've seen a lot of teams. Pick carry heroes, put them in the safe lane, and the opposite team seems to just leave the carry heroes alone while their carry farms. What do you think of that? I think, to me at least, it seems like a pretty suicidal strategy, because if you have an anti-mage who's going to free farm the whole game, and you have weak heroes like Rasta, Leshrak, Bone Fletcher, you might be walking yourself into a really big trap there.
You're right about that, and this is why I like StrawHatz, because see, most teams notice when the other team's carry is farming, they usually blink about it, and then they might 3 minutes late try and do something about the other team's carry, and then they fail. StrawHatz notices it straight off, they blink, they get together, they do something about it, they succeed, and they take a tower. That's what separates for me StrawHatz versus a lot of other teams. So I mean, I know anti-mage is a hard carry to pin down because of his blink, and that's why this game is going to be a bit harder for StrawHatz. But I'm telling you, the Klings, he does manage his early farm. He had a 18-minute Threads, Aquila, and Orchid, Mivrolence, whatever, and it depends. If Mage farms quicker and he picks up a Manta, then Klings is in a tight spot, and this is when the game goes into late game, and there it's anybody's game. But it's going to depend on them executing their push.
Actually, in my opinion, I think if the game goes beyond 30 minutes, this is ATE's game, no question about it. Like, no matter how strong Lynx becomes, they'll lose the advantage in terms of pushing. And if anti-mage becomes strong enough to take out Lesh and Rasta, you've got 2 disables down there already, and the other 3 heroes have no disables. I mean, you may have Fury on Sprout and the Bears Entangle, but apart from that you have nothing. So if AtE do pick off Rasta and Leshrac early in battles, this game might well be theirs. I think they have a very strong advantage going into the mid to late game, while StrawHatz have a huge advantage going into the early game. So I hope we have some good clashes early on.
Yeah, you're right about that. If you let this game go beyond those minutes, it is ATE's game on paper, and they never seem to lose in late game from whatever I've seen of them. But it is late game, and anything can happen in late game. And although ATE are not the team to make mistakes in late game, any team can, and ATE are after all humans, no matter how funny their accents may be. Sorry, Babu is dying on the table right now.
Yeah, no, we have nothing, absolutely nothing against AtE. They're one of the best Dota teams that have ever been around in India.
Hey, I'm a Pulse of Heaven fan, okay? Pulse of Heaven is one of my favorite heroes over here.
It's Light of Heaven and Pulse of Hell.
That's how good Pulse of Heaven is. See, I just said Pulse of Heaven.
And we have Go! The game has finally resumed after around a 15-minute pause, and I hope there's no lag and delay. I hope that we don't have any disconnects or any lag issues, any technical issues. Let's just hope this game goes smoothly.
Yeah, Rasa drops off his ward straight away. CM does the same over here, keeping sight of the ancient spawn. We finally resumed with our game. The bear is waiting for its pull. Tide hanging around the rune. No rune vision as of yet. That's a bit untraditional, yet fairly okay at this point, I guess. Both teams not committing heavily on the warding scene. The bear already there for the pull. I don't think there's much AtE can do to stop this early pull over here. There is one sentry here. StrawHatz probably, preempting a ward over here. A CM illusion heads towards it. Let's hope they don't shackle her. Thank God. That's why I'm not playing.
The bear pulls the creeps to Furion's tower, and I think Furion's going to get a few early levels here. It's going to be pretty easy. ATE's tower, on the other hand, is going to be hit down a little bit. But if you look near the Roshan spot where StrawHatz have planted their wards, it's a pretty unique ward. It's something that a lot of teams don't do early game. They usually plant their wards on the traditional ward spots, but since they expect AtE to come and ward there, they've put the ward in the observer ward in a spot that AtE may not necessarily find with a sentry. As you see Tidehunter walking all the way back, he's gonna try and block this creep wave. It might seem pretty funny, but this is a very smart thing to do, because he has no chance of surviving in the lane. He's gonna just stay back, try and get as much of a block on the creep wave as possible, and make sure that the creeps come as far back as possible so he can leech a little experience.
Yeah, that's good play over there by Insane, and he's doing his best. I mean, he's doing his best. It's the best he can do. He can't leech off Enigma's jungle economy, and he's considerate enough not to be an idiot and go and do that. And he's doing the best he can in his lane. And what do you think? Both teams haven't bothered with the pull spawns. What do you think about that, Babu?
I'm actually pretty surprised that StrawHatz didn't bother with the pull spawns. I would definitely have got an extra set of walls early and blocked ATE's runes or ATE's pull spots, because that's pretty much the only way they can really win on experience, because StrawHatz are going to dominate Tidehunter, Furion's going to TP around and get experience, and as you see, Insane going mid now. He's just decided to leave the lane.
Yeah, finally Insane can't take it. He's going there. He's just walking in on Lone Druid. There's nothing he can do. He just has an anchor smash. The bear already low HP. Pulse moves out for a rune. Let's take a look at some of the last hits and denies. Klink's leading the last hits and denies, and that's a bit surprising. Somebody's outricing error. What do you say, Babu?
I am not surprised, because they've just left Klink's alone, and I think they're going to depend on their anti-mage.
But Mage is pretty much alone. I mean, he isn't. I mean, he did have to take last hits under tower, but he's Gizmo.
Yeah, I think you can expect better from Gizmo, definitely. You can expect him to improve through the game, because this is his first game in the tournament, remember. And you don't really expect a player to perform at his optimal level when he's playing his first game.
What is interesting though, slight lead that Tiny, I mean not slight, it's a big lead, 12 last hits and 7 denies versus Druid on the 11 last hits and 5 denies. So mid is going close, and I missed the first blood. Kling spawned Tidehunter, it happened too soon. Furion TP'd in, and this is StrawHatz, Babo. This is what I was talking about.
This is exactly what we were talking about before the game. StrawHatz might well push this tower down really early. They've got the advantage on the Klings with the first blood. He's got a huge advantage now with the early last hits and the first blood. he's gonna pick up some really quick items, and AtE really need Gizmo to farm really fast. They need Gizmo to farm really fast, because if they don't, this could be a very early finish.
And I don't think even Error saw that coming, man. That was, I mean, I didn't see that play, but it was beautiful play. You don't even need to see that play to know that StrawHatz just pulled out something, jumped the Tidehunter, took the kill. I mean, StrawHatz would have liked the tower, because that's what they do. They did a fair amount of damage out there at so early in the game. What the hell? Okay, tiny kill Lone Druid. I'm so sorry, guys. I wanted to see these kills. I'm really sorry. Yeah.
Well, CM came mid from top lane. She
And
disappeared.
then once again going on Tidehunter. X over there coming out of Rasta. Leshrac, oh, he misses the stun and Tidehunter survives.
And that's unfortunate, because that would have given Clinks a really huge advantage. It's sad that the Syllabi got ganked. You see Rasta moving mid now. They're going for the rune, and Rasta might well meet Tiny here. He destroys the rune, That was great play from StrawHatz.
And meanwhile, Tidehunter coming off to corner of Rasta, he throws in an anchor smash. There's nothing he can do. Mage jumps in on Nature's Prophet. Oh my god, the kills all over the map. I don't know where to look. I need 2 eyes, 2 monitors. God, please. Tidehunter just running away. Babu, did you even see on the minimap that it was happening? Because
No, I'm pretty surprised, because all of these ganks are happening pretty suddenly. Heroes are turning up from absolutely nowhere, and Furion TP's back to top lane.
So Furion right now is doing better on the level bit than, oh yeah, he is almost 1 level above Tidehunter. Yes, he is 1 level above Tidehunter. Let's take a small look at last hits over here. Hero level wise, Tiny is leading. He's the mid solo versus the Bear. That's a bit surprising. Bear not pulling off enough last hits over there. Last hits and denies, it's still close between Klings and Mage.
Mage just took the lead.
Mage just took the lead. It's quite close over there. The EXP graph is going towards the tire. Where did that happen?
I think the mid solo got ganked. I think that's where that happened. The 2 solos got yanked, in fact, for StrawHatz, and that was really unfortunate for them, because they've lost a lot of experience advantage that they could have gained from that Klink skill. And I think they should have taken out that tower. They should have done whatever they could to take out that tower at bottom lane.
Meanwhile, Error slowly respond with a ward on top lane, which they didn't plant straight off in the beginning of the game. We see a bit of movement over here by Crystal Maiden. She's got a decent amount of levels on her. It's quite surprising. I mean, okay, that's basically from the creep spawns that she's been pulling. Leshrac and Rasta, meanwhile, sharing this neutral camp. They're pretty much even on levels over there. And I mean, I just have to stay alert all the time, because pretty much anything can happen, Babo.
Yeah, there could be a kill on any lane here. It's going to be an action-packed early game for sure. As you see, Tidehunter and Rasta going for, and Rasta destroys another rune, destroyed by the Rasta.
No, she didn't destroy it. Meanwhile, CM comes in from behind, Rasta dies. They would regret that play, and Tiny's running in from behind. Leshrac is running on Diabolic. StrawHatz would be wise to back out right now. They do the same. Klings picks up some extra damage from the Centaur, regens his HP. Meanwhile, Tidehunter is doing the same. He almost denied the rune. He needed a little bit more physical damage.
He almost denied that rune again. It's awesome play from StrawHatz. They're trying some unique stuff. As Anti-Mage blinks in on Furion, he's going to send him back definitely to the tower. Furion backs off and he's going to lose a lot of experience. Anti-Mage meanwhile will continue leveling and farming.
Meanwhile, in bot lane, we see a possible push coming out from StrawHatz. They're just chipping away at this tower. They want this tower. 7 minutes is late by their standards. They know that. They're doing the best that they can. Enigma content to just pull up the max of this economy. He goes for a medallion early in the game. Possibly a Roshan. A medallion hurts, man, with an Enigma. It hurts. It hurts a hero really bad, and it does hurt creeps as well. So Lone Druid is basically standing back with his hero and taking last hits with his bear. That's how he's chosen to go with his Lone Druid. Well, there's no one way about doing this. We see a push coming out top, a semi-push of shots. Enigma jumping on Furion. Furion's in an awkward position. Malefice hits on him. Anti-Mage just has to blink out and Furion is dead.
Yeah, and this is what you can expect from... And another kill goes down at bottom lane with StrawHatz Klinks getting another kill. He got first blood and this is his second kill of the game. He's going to have a huge advantage, and I think Anti-Mage has kind of evened that out with his farm as StrawHatz go for this tower, and so do AtE.
Yeah, it's almost even. You know, it's almost even. And oh my god, Kling's almost dying there to tower hits and Crystal Maiden skills. No, it's not even. Error has a slight... Is it even?
Neither tower has gone down here as bottom lane an initiation happens with Tiny stuck in the Furion trees. Leshrac hits the stun, but Tiny's going to get out safely. I think Tiny's going to look for another kill here.
Yeah, I mean, both teams taking initiative like nobody's business. Beautiful offensive Dota going on here. Finally a tower is going, oh, and they had to deny before. A good deny out there from CM.
And I think this will reflect on the goal difference chart.
Yeah, speaking of the goal difference chart, let's take a small look. Dipping heavily in the dire favor.
Yeah,
EXP as well, 3000
3,500 XP lead at 8 minutes, that's a huge advantage. And
huge advantage.
we're going to see an initiation at bot lane, and like I said, this is going to be a really action-packed early game.
The good whole. These are some of the best games of Dota 2 going on right now over here, ladies and gentlemen. Furion, it's an ulti just to scare them off. Is he going to TP in? No, he's not. Everybody's a bit far away. Meanwhile, on mid lane, Bear is just farming. Let's take a look at Bear's farm. 49. He's pretty much toe to toe with anti-mage, and
So is Klinks.
so is Klings, exactly. They're matching the farm, even though they might have the goal disadvantage.
In fact, two Radiant heroes are matching the farm of the Dire carry, so this could play in the Radiant's hands if AtE don't gank both carries regularly. In regular intervals, they need to gank Klinks and they need to gank the Bear, and Furion will keep farming as well. So no matter how much the advantage goes to AtE at the beginning, I think the Radiant are doing really well.
And the Bear just get picked off. Meanwhile, Anti-Mage picks off his Vanguard, not going for the Battle Fury build, which was more common these days. And StrawHatz are smoked up. They're making a move towards mid. They're all there in mid. They want a kill and a tower. This is why I love StrawHatz, man. You've got to love them. The ward's not picking them up, of course, and they're coming from all around towards mid. It almost looks as if AtE knows what's going on, or they're just moving towards bot lane for their Klinks possibly. Klinks gets sense of this. There are wards. He moves out of there. Well, he is still farming. Tiny picks up haste. There is a sentry. Crystal Maiden dewarding in this. And oh, they all move in on mage. This is what I told you. They will not let their carry farm. Where is the Shackle?
Shackle goes in. Leshrac hits the stun, and Mage might blink out. He's got a Vanguard. He's got an early Vanguard. Mage blinks out towards the secret shop. I think he's going to get out here because he's TPing out. Furion TPs to the wrong spot and Mage gets out. That was an amazing play by Gizmo. He completely juked them.
That was a beautiful play by both teams. I mean, they did what they both could, and Mage just waited and he blinked in the right direction and he ran off. Good play by Mage over there.
And again here, this is going to reflect on the experience chart because 3 StrawHatz heroes were out of place. They could have been in lane. They failed on a gank and they didn't get the experience required, while Enigma looks like he's going to go for an early Roshan. He's assaulting Roshan, and expect AtE to come in here because this is a very surprising Roshan.
No, I've seen a lot. I've seen this happen. I mean, at least on the international scene, you pick up Medallion with Enigma and you can go Roshan once you have got a reasonably good level of what do you call them? Eidolons. Sorry, it's now demonic conversion. Yeah, I hope somebody from StrawHatz have checked out his inventory because he can pull off a Roshan. He's choosing not to. Maybe he's waiting for some more backup. But with a Medallion and conversions, you can.
I think, yeah, I've been a little out of touch with the international scene, but AtE will pick up the early Roshan if they can. They definitely will. It'll give them a huge advantage in terms of gold, and having the early ages on the anti-mage is going to be absolutely beautiful because they're having a hard time killing anti-mage anyway with the Vanguard.
Yeah, it's already become difficult. 11 minutes he's picked up his Vanguard. That's why he's Gizmo, and that's why he's a carry. Well, there are many people who farm like that on the team. That's irrelevant. Though Dinchak chipping away at Roshan, Tidehunter taking up this opportunity. He's picked up Ravage in no time. Klink steps in from behind. Can we see Furion TPing in for a kill? And there he's gone. Tide's gone.
Klinks with a really easy kill there on Tidehunter, and if you with the Aquila and the death pack damage that he's going to get, he's going to be able to take out a lot of these dire heroes, especially Crystal Maiden, Tidehunter, Enigma too.
Yeah, Klings, and meanwhile Mage has jumped in on Furion, decides to get out of there. Not much he can do. Mage has all the free farm he needs on the top lane. StrawHatz will be hoping to pick in one more gank on Mage. They need that Orchid on Klinks possibly to pick off Mage or more damage. Was Klinks there in the earlier gank, Babu?
No, Klinks was farming bottom lane. He wasn't around.
They need Klinks. They need Klinks. Klinks will come there. Well, at the moment StrawHatz have no vision of this that's going on. Roshan is almost there. They've done it bit by bit. They've showed themselves at mid, gone back to Roshan. They showed themselves at mid, they've gone back to Roshan. And this is why we here in Bombay call them Gandus.
Yeah, as AtE pick up Roshan and Tiny picks up the Aegis in fact, and that's going to be That's going to be really, really good for them because they're going to be able to freely gank with Tiny now. And the new Aegis change, of course.
Yes.
Can tell our viewers about that.
Well, yes, I mentioned this yesterday. I'm just mentioning it once again. Aegis is an item that spawns on Roshan every 10 minutes, as all of you probably know, hopefully do know. If you never died while you had Aegis, you would keep it for the full duration of 10 minutes. Now you keep it for a duration of 6 minutes. So within 6 minutes, whether you die, oh my god, sorry I had to go through all of that. Tide Hunter just died again. Tide is decided to become the feeder of ATE. I mean, in a game of 8 kills, you can call him the feeder, I guess.
I think now finally the kills are even, and you're going to see ATE trying to push for this tower with Enigma and the Tiny Aegis.
Yeah, Furion did let out his ulti, but there were too many conversions soaking up that ulti over there, and ATE are trying their own twisted way of pushing, which basically just amounting to roaming around at mid, and Furion is there to hold them up. There's nothing much they can do. Meanwhile, Klings is pushing out the bot lane, Mage is pushing up the top lane. This is going to go into the mid game, and I don't think StrawHatz want to take it there. I'm not sure if they can pull it out from there. I know the Bear has been farming, but I'm not sure that's enough.
Yeah, I think the Roshan gave ATE a big advantage there in terms of the experience for the 3 heroes that took him down. You see it at 3,500. In fact, 4,500 is the experience difference, and 3,500, around 4,000 is the gold difference here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a good sign over there. Let's take a bit of look of the gold per minute over there, and Klings, my god. He's going to end up playing forever with this guy. He farms like one of them. 432 gold per minute on Klings. And meanwhile, there's a big gang going on. Sorry for this, and there was one of the best black holes of the tournament, possibly, and I missed it. Oh my god. Tiny ends up dying. Enigma ends up dying. Klings just picking them off, and Tiny respawns. He does have his Aegis. Mage walks into battle, not sure who to focus on, turns on to Klings. Klings being beaten down. Tiny turns on to Klings, and Klings is out. The Bear being trapped by the very own team Furion. Furion lets out his ulti, and the Bear has entangled Tiny. Bear let loose on Tiny. Mage jumps onto Furion. Tiny dies. Furion running for his life. Klings buys back, I guess, a Ravage over there. Furion still holding off Mage for a really long time, and Tiny running, Tide Hunter just running for his very, very low life. Whew,
I think you're going to see Klings chasing past the tower here. In fact, Klings is going after anti-mage. I think he should have gone after Tide,
and
but
Klings picked up a 15-minute Orchid. This is what I was telling you about. I love this team.
Wow, that's amazing. A 15-minute Orchid on Klings. That's going to really destroy anti-mage. What do you think?
That's what I told you. They need that Orchid to gank Klings, which failed over here. Anti-mage will be praying he gets his Manta soon. He has got his Yasha. Clicking on your Manta dispels the Orchid buff, for those of you who don't know. And both their support still being active on the warding phase. They're both fighting for their runes. This is one tight game.
This is going to be a really interesting game. It's going to be between anti-mage and Klings, and I think it's all down to anti-mage now for ATE, because with Klings with that Orchid early, now he needs to go for HP items, I think. And if you notice mid, there's some sort of initiation going on mid. The Bear was attacking Tiny and he kind of backed off. But I think, yeah, this is down to Gizmo getting his Manta. You're right.
Yeah, if Gizmo gets his Manta, there's not much Klings can do. They are all jumping on Klings already. As it is, Tiny did focus Klings, and that burst damage is good enough to take out Klings. Klings needs a BKB, I guess, but he's choosing to go more damage instead. Meanwhile, Furion is working towards his Hex, and that's what they need to hold anti-mage in place and pick him off. Both teams are focusing the right heroes. Klings likewise is also focusing on their support straight away. Mage is jumping on Furion. Nothing much.
I think Gizmo played a great hand there by jumping on Klings early in that battle and taking him out. Unfortunately, for ATE, Klings had buyback because really early in the game, probably 450, 500 gold, and Klings bought back and couldn't really do much more after coming back. But
they got Tiny.
They did get Tiny, yeah, which is a pretty big kill, in fact.
Yeah. Meanwhile, everybody is gathering at mid, not sure what to do. They're just liking to look at each other out there. Enigma farming over there in the NCs, and some active warding going on over here. Let's just take a look at the warding. The Dire have clearly better map control at the moment.
Yeah, they have sentries everywhere. They're making sure that Klings can't freely roam and kill off heroes.
Yes, and then this is what Babo mentioned at the start of the game. I mean, you pick a Klings versus a team like AtE, they're not going to give you a free hand. Even then, Klings has managed to make an impact, and he's done it only in 18 minutes in the game. There's initiation there, Leshak out of position. One toss, one ravage. I'm supposed to say avalanche, but he did ravage. What can I do? One toss and one ravage. Meanwhile, they're not done. Rasta drops his ward. A gush follows up on Rasta.
The wards are solving Tiny. Tiny with low armor, he's going to take a lot of damage from those wards, so he has to back off. Meanwhile, CM stands up the slope and attacks the wards. They're going to take down the wards for some free gold. And Ravage was popped. I don't think that was necessary there. Enigma with the mech up and Tidehunter going for that early pipe. He's got the herd already, and don't expect the pipe to come too long from now.
This is why I'm always amazed by Error, man. Look at the Tidehunter. He didn't get any farm in his lane, but he has a hood in 18 minutes. That's quite decent time for
that's pretty amazing
for an offlane Tide.
As AtE take down the mid tower, and this is now the second tower that AtE have got down, and you can expect them to go bottom lane while Anti-Mage continues farming on the opposite side of the map.
Yeah, Mage is inching closer and closer towards his Manta. He should have it with the next 3-4 minutes, knowing what AtE and Error players are capable of when it comes to farming. The bot lane gets pushed. This time, Klings not pushing the bot lane, but trying to defend mid, ending up doing nothing. He's losing EXP there. There was no battle over there either, so I mean, StrawHatz would be hitting themselves for that.
Yeah, I think this all comes down to the experience of the two teams, and AtE know how to handle this kind of situation. Even if they lose the early advantage a little bit, they know how to pull a game back. StrawHatz, unfortunately, they haven't been around in the competitive scene too long, at least not playing with the top teams, and it might play into AtE's hands here.
Yeah, it might. And meanwhile, I'm sure that the bear has got his relic. Yes, he does. And I don't know, Rasta looks way below the poverty line, way below any line. Nothing.
We have a little bit of lag here, and the game gets paused. I think we should mention some of the sponsors, the guys who've been great at.
Yes. For those of you who don't know, I am here casting this event here at ICGC Goa 2012. ICGC Goa 2012 is brought to you by Alienware Arena. Oh, and I'm sorry, one of our sponsors, Alienware Arena, who's made all of this possible. Also, Lord Nod, all these games will be up on his casting channel. You can check him out at twitch.tv/Lord Nod. He has a YouTube channel. Just Google, search for Lord Nod on YouTube. And along with them, Microsoft has been one of our main sponsors as well. Thank you, Microsoft, for giving us Windows 7 and 8 beta. Meanwhile, we see pushes going on at the top lane and the bot lane. Tiny holding off a push. And it's one of the advantages of Tiny. He can hold off a push just by himself. Bot lane, the tower has been destroyed by the Dire. The bear, meanwhile, hasn't left his farm. He's been there, he's been in place, he's last sitting away on his creeps, and he's staying onto his farm. And it's a close game. It's anyone's game. It's not anyone's game at the moment. AtE bit by bit are bringing it back in their favor. We'll just know as soon as this gets done. Anti-Mage is done with his Manta, and now it's going to be hard for Klings to pin him down with that Orchid. What do you say?
Yeah, I think now that Anti-Mage has his Manta, the game is definitely in AtE's hands, but with Syllabag very close to his Radiance now, it's going to be close. I think it's definitely going to be close. If you look at the kills, it's close. AtE may have the advantage in terms of golden experience, but a Radiance on a Syllabag can prove to be really destructive.
It can. It gives them the ability to push, and it's not going to disable any blinks because AtE haven't picked up any as of yet. But yeah, it's going to really hurt some of the weaker heroes. Like, I think it's going to do a bit of damage on Tiny. Meanwhile, we see them smoked up. AtE smoked up, going on to Furion. Oh, Furion turns back. A gush comes. Crystal Maiden comes in from behind. A Ravage.
Ravage popped again on one hero. I'm pretty surprised with Insane's decision making here, because he's popped Ravage twice or thrice on just one hero.
No, you know what? Maybe they've just woken up to the fact that they aren't any pushovers. We need that kill. We need that tower. We need to win. And AtE are playing seriously now. That's it. They're just going for the kill.
Yeah, I think they've realized the threat that StrawHatz pose against them, and they've just decided to say, screw it. We're going for every kill we can. We're going for every tower we can. We're going to do it as soon as possible, before the Syllabag gets too strong, before the Bone Fletcher gets uncontrollable, and while the Anti-Mage still has the advantage with his Manta.
Yeah, they've decided to step it up, and they've decided to go for the win. And game 2 is going to be interesting. It's going to tell us who adapts to who better. And as of now, my guess is It's going to be ATE, but game 1 isn't over yet, and anything can happen in the late game. Meanwhile, Klings has a Chrysalis. He's trying to pick off Mage. Can't do much. Mage has his Manta. There's nothing much Klings can do now. Klings is going to feel very useless very soon. Crystal Maiden, meanwhile, has some dust with her. Tide also has some dust with him. They're not going to give Klings a free hand. This is the difference between ATE and the other teams.
Yeah, I think this has turned into what should have been an aggressive early game for StrawHatz. What should have been them taking out a lot of towers early, maybe 4 or 5 towers early game, has turned into a very defensive strategy here, because now they have to wait for ATE to come into them and hope that ATE make a mistake, which is unlikely because of the experience that ATE have.
Yeah. They're just going to bide the time farming, and I don't think they want to sit and farm either, because Mage is really farming himself. StrawHatz have to make something happen, and Furion, I mean, he was in the off lane. He's almost heading towards the 33-minute hex, which isn't bad, but he could do better.
Yeah, he definitely could do better. I think it all comes down to the advantage that they lost because they didn't take down the early towers. As you see them trying to initiate on mid with Tiny getting Orchid, but he runs away from Bone Fletcher. Bone Fletcher's going to look to take down the tower. Syllabet takes the last hit on that tower.
Is he just going to ravage? No, thank God. Anyway, Tide walks in with a pipe. They're jumping onto the bear. The bear has to die. He can't do anything about it. Tiny pops off his double damage on the bear. A lot of things going on the bear, but the bear manages to run away.
Yeah, and Tiny now has a scepter. I think that's a big play there by Pulse of Hell. He's got his scepter really early in the game. He's decided not to go Blink Dagger. He's gone straight scepter, and they're going to look to push down these towers really quickly.
Yeah, well, there are 3 ways of building Tiny now. One is the scepter build. One, well, a lot of we saw Eom go Drums of Endurance and a Manta, which well works as a Tiny who could push, and a Tiny who could do physical damage, and there's the Blink build, the old school build, so to say. Meanwhile, they pick up Roshan again, uncontested. Then this ward picked them up, or I guess they came down the slope.
Even if the ward picked them up, I'd like to point out that there's not much. There's not much that the Radiant could have done there with Furion farming top. He may have TP'd, but they're really weak now with Tiny, and that Scepter, it's going to do a lot of damage to their weak heroes. Like I said at the beginning of the game, Rasta and Leshrac could go down really easily, and Bone Fletcher is pretty much a free frag if he's spotted.
Once again, the sign of a very good team. Well, at least in my opinion, when his supports pick up farm and levels like way better than they normally should. CM already has her Tranquil Boots, and she has a Ghost Scepter with her. And Tide has already picked up his pipe, being in the off lane, being severely pushed out of the lane to the point that he had to block his pawn somewhere over here at the start of the game.
Yeah, I think I may be repeating myself too often, but this is experience. This is all experience.
Yeah.
Because StrawHatz may have had a slight advantage in terms of picks early game, but AtE have just outplayed them. AtE so far have outplayed them. The kill difference isn't much, it's only 3 kills. But if you look at the gold and experience difference right now, you're going to see that AtE have a pretty big advantage with 7,500 gold going in their favor. More than that, in fact, around 8,000 gold going in their favor. While in the experience chart, you see 12,000. That's a pretty big difference there. As AtE group up in the Radiant Forest, they seem to be going for a gank, but I don't think any of the StrawHatz heroes are willing to show themselves right now. They're going to just wait and hope that AtE make a mistake.
Yeah, there's nothing much StrawHatz can do. They know they're on the back foot. They aren't making any mistakes themselves. They're trying to pick up farm. They're basically
they're waiting for that Furion Hex.
They're waiting for the Furion Hex, that's one thing. Well, while they are waiting for the Furion Hex, Mage has got his Skull Basher, Enigma has got his BKB, and Tiny's got Haste. He's activated his Haste rune. He's somewhere running around. He's going on the bear. Well, he's just going to farm. And Klings is out there. He wants a kill, but they're always together.
The positioning of AtE is absolutely impeccable because they're always around each other. If Anti-Mage is farming, you always have a Tidehunter CM. A little behind him, maybe a Tiny as well. Tiny went to push out bottom lane because the bear was pushing with his Radiance. And you're going to see someone push out top lane as well before AtE go for mid tower.
Yeah, I think they got what they needed. Enigma has his BKB. They have everything they need. And once again, thank you so much to all our wonderful sponsors here. Thanks to Alienware. I have a plate of French fries in front of me. Thank you, guys.
As Anti-Mage jumps in on
Jumps
left track
in on
and
left track and
goes
left
down
track.
really
Dies a ravage over there. Enigma walks in. He pops off his BKB and he has a black hole. Black hole. But Klings manages to pick off Tidehunter over there. Mage Gizmo jumps out. He jumps onto Klings. There's nothing that StrawHatz can do. StrawHatz are backing out. He just blasts Klings over there. Gizmo is unstoppable. A quick buyback from Klings. But what is the point? What can he do? What is the point of that buyback?
I think that was just a waste of gold because he could have come out, saved a gold, maybe got another item a little later.
Yeah.
But he can't do anything right now. I think he's going to just run top and maybe push down that tower if he can, while AtE try to push down this tower. But they're going to get it really quickly because they have Anti-Mage with the Manta, who's really, really strong, and Tiny with a Scepter.
Do you know, yeah, well, Furion can do this. The other option that Furion has is, well, he can cut across somewhere here and start blocking the wave here itself or here itself.
Yeah.
He can drop his wave and start pushing out the wave and have a TP on his pocket to TP out while AtE are doing this. He could have done that. See, he could have cut this wave would have caught up by now. But that's up to you, to each his own, Furion as well. Klings really wants a kill. He's caught out of position. This is AtE and a medallion is popped on him and he dies. Gizmo Gizmo maybe a bit too late with the Skull Basher, but the bear catches him in his entangle and Gizmo is hitting away on pusher. Gizmo doesn't care. Last minute blinks away like
he
a
has
boss.
the ages as well, so he's not really worried about dying because he's going to respawn and his team is going to back him up as soon as he comes back.
And Furion TP's out to bot lane, trying to push bot lane. Once again, he could have just cut across, pushed this wave faster, quicker, maybe gone for the tower because that's what Furions need to do. They're the alternative push while everybody is there somewhere in the bases farming. There are pings going out on the tower, he is dropping his trees. But yeah, meanwhile, StrawHatz all grouped up in the neutrals. The bear has his radiance, but he managed an Hyper Stone as well. He needs more items.
He needs more items definitely to counter the Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage has a Manta now, and I think
he's got his Skull Basher.
He's got his Skull Basher, he's got a Manta, he's got a Vlad, he's got the Aegis, he's got the Vanguard, he's got Treads, and he's really being able to pick off the intelligence heroes really quickly now. I think it's a matter of maybe 1.5 2 seconds at the most that he's going to take out Leshrac and Rasta. And I think Vivek, I think I need to put you on the spot here right now and ask you, if you were StrawHatz, what would you do to turn around this game?
Okay, so first I deward and ward a bit together and maybe try and wait for Roshan. Till then, do no mistakes. And until Roshan, try a smoke gank. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. I think maybe you need to throw the dice a bit. You need to gamble a bit. I don't know if buying a gem is a worthwhile. It makes no sense over here for StrawHatz to buy a gem for that much vision, and they aren't even taking advantage of the vision. They need to do that. Meanwhile, Furion needs to keep applying pressure. That's
yeah, and StrawHatz are a little out of position right now because AtE are pushing top lane, second tower. So Tiny going to take out the tower really quickly with the help of Anti-Mage and Tidehunter. You're going to see this tower going down definitely. It's about 3 hits of Tiny away from dying, and he takes it down really, really quickly for the kill of the tower.
Yeah, Tiny going for more attack speed after his Aghanim Scepter. He has an Yasha which he could go on into a Manta. He's just backing away at the base tower. Did you just see that?
Yeah.
That was one hit of Tiny's.
122 damage to the tower. One hit.
Ouch. AtE are together. They're just looking to. AtE are all grouped together. They're just probably looking to give the final finishing blow, and this game is probably theirs. Meanwhile, Klings is trying to build in towards Crystallis, but I don't think that's what he needs. I would pick a BKB. What do you think about that?
I think definitely BKB to avoid the Tidehunter's Ravage and the Chinese Avalanche. He needs a BKB because those are the only 2 spells in the game, and if he can BKB and pick off those 2 heroes, they have no more disables. He can go around the back of the battle, maybe play a little sly, avoid the sentries, and take out some of the disablers. Definitely, that's what he needs to do, take out some of the disablers, because that's what he's most prone to.
He can easily pick off Crystal Maiden there, and with the help of his team, he can pick off Enigma and Tide. He can pick off Enigma as well. But Crystal Maiden does have a Ghost Scepter. She's had it for a while. She's picked up a gem as well. AtE did the right thing. Once again, absolute Kandugiri out of them. This is my 3rd and last warning. Sorry. And I'm sorry. They're just loving these fries too much. I'm going to stop talking for a while.
We're gonna see a big battle mid in a little bit of time because AtE are applying a lot of pressure on 2 lanes at the same time with anti-mage on one side and with Tidehunter and Tiny CM and Enigma on the other side. You have a huge amount of push potential here as the game is paused because of some delay or lag issues.
Yeah. Let's hope this is not a 8-9 minute pause, Babu. Oh, it's resuming. So a nice split push coming out of AtE over there. The bear coming in with Radiance to push them out, but they don't care about bear or the Radiance. They just jump on it. Furion it's his ulti. Not much. Enigma pops up his mech. They have what they need to push. They have a pipe. Meanwhile, a Hex being wasted probably in my opinion on Gizmo. Gizmo just blinks away. This is when AtE are going to finish it. What do you think? Do you think StrawHatz can survive for the next 5 minutes?
I don't think so. I don't think so. With Titan Enigma's ultis and no BKBs on the Radiant side, I think you're going to see them all going down. As Tidehunter wastes the Ravage on the bear, no one else was in the Ravage. Rasta puts the wards down, and Crystal Maiden gets the kill on Centipede while Nature's Prophet is brought back into the game. He goes down really quickly. So did Slinks. Lone Druid brought back into the game as well. They're going to take down his racks with no trouble at all. I don't think the buybacks are necessary. I think this game is over, and yeah, they should just call the GG because Tiny is way too farmed, Anti-Mage is way too farmed. They have no BKBs to counter the disables that Dire are putting through. Tiny tosses Enigma just for fun now. I think they know, they're very confident. They know that this game is over.
Yeah. Look at them. Yeah, and CM passes on the gem to Anti-Mage. They're going in for the mid tower. StrawHatz, I love the spirit, they're not giving up, but it's probably over. Tidehunter just passes a blink dagger so we can pop off more pointless ravages. But yeah, I mean, they may seem pointless, but they've always capitalized on although the small little thing that they picked from that little ravage. And Gizmo being hexed over there, they all pounce onto Gizmo. Enigma pops out the milk a bit too early. They don't have any ultimates. Tiny comes in with the avalanche. Frenzy picking off Gizmo. Gizmo dies. There's no ages on him anymore. And Tidehunter just right clicking away on Furion, and Furion wouldn't want to be in that awful position. Pulse dominating with a double kill, and now he's being sent back with Klings, and AtE without their ultimates, they're still surviving these big team fights.
Without the Ravage, without the Black Hole, they absolutely destroyed the 2-hint heroes, the 3-hint heroes in fact, that the Radiant side have, and now they take down a second Rax, and this game is by far over. It's done. I think they should call the GG, stop wasting time and get on to game 2, because StrawHatz did show a lot of potential in this game. There were some great picks, they couldn't execute them just right, but I think they've learned from their experience.
I don't think they lacked in execution that much, it's just that AtE played better.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about the push potential that they had early on, and they should have tried to put on some more pressure on the game.
They tried, but AtE played better. That's it. They did try. Level 1. They took first blood before we even saw it. I don't think even Tide expected it. AtE were a little out of their depth in the beginning, but
yeah, the GG's called now, and they disconnect from the game.
And I think these are genuine GGs out there from AtE. They really, I think to some extent they realize that they're not playing against complete wussies out there. Meanwhile, good game. Guys, get ready for game 2 coming your way in about the next 5 minutes or so.